Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
This is an update to a story I've been following. No more paper tags in Texas. Car buyers to get metal plates upon purchase. Vinny sent this to me. Fox 26 Houston ran the story. Heather Sullivan wrote it. The days of temporary paper tags on Texas cars are ending. And this was a real problem in Texas. It happens elsewhere. But in many places, people who don't feel like putting plates in their cars just get paper tags, and there's a lot of places you can get them. I've seen news stories about people selling them on Craigslist. Want a paper tag for your car? Buy one from me and just slap it on your car and drive around. And the problem is that a lot of police officers are driving behind a car with a paper tag and can't really read what it says, and it's harder to look up, apparently. So a new state law takes effect this month, requiring that car buyers receive a permanent metal license plate when they buy the car. Now, there are exceptions, but it turns out the new temp tags are also metal. So Texas DMV sent a statement out to various news outlets, including Fox 26, saying it's been shipping permanent metal license plates to car dealers since May and has been training them with training sessions for months. The change is aimed at ending a paper trail of crime. Crooks made millions of dollars selling fake temporary tags on the black market for cars and trucks in Texas. And of course, it's not just the crooks making money there, but it's people driving around with vehicles that aren't properly plated. And there could be all kinds of problems there. The vehicles could be stolen. Vehicles might not have insurance on them. Who knows? Investigators say they're being used in cars to commit crimes, or being used by drivers to evade tolls, speed cameras, or driving without insurance. So the new state law will change the way cars are bought and sold in Texas. When you buy from a dealership, the dealership will put a permanent plate on the car and immediately register it in your name. And by the way, that's what happens in Michigan nowadays. I remember years ago when they would give you the temporary tag and they'd say, just don't worry, your plate will come in the mail soon. And your plate would come in the mail shortly thereafter if they did the paperwork right. Nowadays, the dealerships have the metal plates in inventory, and if you buy a car, they go, yep, we got the plate right here, and they walk out with a plate. Now, of course, if you want a vanity plate, that's different, but the point is that you can get the metal plate from the dealership. So until your registration sticker arrives from your county tax office, you must keep the buyer's plate receipt in the car in case you're pulled over. So you still need to get something from the state, but you'll have paperwork to prove otherwise. That you're okay. If a dealer doesn't have enough plates on hand, it can issue one of 4 new temporary metal plates in 4 different colors, and the color codes indicate different things. But yes, it's a temporary metal plate. So there's a blue plate for business use only, such as transferring a car from one dealer to another. Green is for out-of-state buyers. So if you're going to be buying a car in Texas but taking it to another state and plating it there, they're like, well, why put a Texas plate on it? Put a green plate on it. Red is for 1-day or 30-day temporary plates. And purple is for when specific plates are not available, such as plates for disabled people. So if you sell or trade in a car at a dealership, the dealer can transfer the plate to another vehicle of the same class that is sold within 10 days. But consumers with specialty or personalized or vanity plates will get to keep those plates. So if you sell a car privately, the DMV says you should remove your plates and registration sticker and submit a vehicle transfer notification to the DMV within 30 days. The seller can transfer the plate to another vehicle they own, or they can transfer it to the new owner. And call me paranoid, I would suggest that you don't do that. I just have a bad feeling about that. I know some states require you to, but buyers must submit a title and registration application to their county tax assessor and obtain new plates to register the vehicle within 30 days. For drivers who currently have paper tags on their vehicles, the law says it will stop being legal 60 days from July 1st. So basically July, August, basically September. By September, there should be no more paper plates on the road, paper tags on the road in Texas, because they won't be legal anymore. And so I've spoken to people in different states, and it does appear to be a problem in some states, but not others. I can't say that I see a lot of temporary tags in the roads here in Michigan, but I've spoken to people who said, no, where I live, it's like every other car's got a temporary tag on it. And so there were dealerships, I've done stories about dealerships that were apparently just issuing the tags to people who hadn't bought cars. But I've seen the news reports of people on Craigslist advertising, I can get you a temporary tag for it, and they name some price that's way below what a tag would normally cost. And the tricky thing about this is, of course, is that a paper tag is just paper printed on a printer. And many people nowadays have got printers and paper. So it's not that hard to come up with something like this, but it is illegal. But the question, of course, then is, does anybody ever get caught for doing it? And so I remember, again, going way back, I worked at a gas station before there was anything called self-serve, and I used to pump gas. And so I worked at a mobile gas station, and someone would often come in and they'd wave a mobile card at me and say, fill it. So I'd fill the car up. They would then hand me their credit card. I would go inside and get an imprinter and clunk through the imprinter. And then I'd take out that receipt that's got a couple parts to it, a carbon, and I'd put it on a tray, and I'd walk back out to the car. As I walked around the car, I would write down the license plate of the number in the top right-hand corner of that piece of paper. And it would say, what state is the tag from? You put Michigan, and then what's the tag? And you put in the letters, the numbers, and then you'd walk around and you'd have the person sign it, and you'd tear off the top, give it to them, and you take the other one inside and ring it up. I remember, though, people who would come in with brand new cars and temporary tags. And I remember actually filling in the big long string of numbers in there and then writing temporary underneath it, because you'd see them occasionally, but not that often, But I'm trying to remember now how far back it goes, but I'm reasonably certain that going back quite a ways now in Michigan, the dealerships themselves have the plates that you used to have to go to the Secretary of State's office to get. And that's something that they came up with. And, the Secretary of State's office in Michigan has gotten much, much more efficient over the years. I remember years ago going there and standing in line for hours before they even issued the old take a number thing. That was an innovation. And then, of course, they started letting some of the dealerships do some of this stuff. And why not? Give them a stack of plates, let them do the registration. When they send it in, they can hand the plate to the customer. Save some work for the Secretary of State's office. Nowadays, you can go online, book yourself an appointment at your convenience, show up and get in and out in like 15 minutes. And I recently plated a vehicle earlier this year, like February or March maybe. And I went and looked at Secretary of State's offices near me. There's 2 or 3 to choose from. And I asked myself, which one's probably the least busy? And I picked one, and I went in there, and he goes, when do you want to come in? And I look at the next day, and there's a bunch of blocks, and he goes, pick one. And the funny part is I got there early, and I thought, well, I'm just going to kind of just see what happens. And no, my block said, be here at 10:15, and at 10:15 they called me, and I was done by 10:30. I mean, amazing. But partly because they've organized themselves better, but also because they've also farmed some of their work out to other people. Now, in that case, however, I was plating a vehicle. It was the Jeep Wrangler I recently bought. It's a used Jeep Wrangler. I bought it out of state, had it shipped up here, and when it got here, I had all the paperwork for it, and I simply walked that into the Secretary of State's office. I need a plate for this vehicle. I just bought this vehicle out of state, and they took care of it. But if I'd gotten that vehicle at a dealership, probably could have gotten a plate there, So funny how that works, but they had to do this because in Texas in particular, it was a problem. There are states where there are problems. Also, I believe New York or New Jersey has issues with this. So we'll see what happens, but I suspect that this is going to end a ton of license plate fraud in Texas. So Vinny, thanks for sending the story. No more paper tags in Texas. Car buyers get metal plates upon purchase. Fox 26 Houston ran the story by Heather Sullivan. And in case you're curious, the front of the shirt says rutabaga. The back of the shirt says Lehto's pasties. And in pasties, a meat pie that they make in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and elsewhere. Rutabaga is the secret ingredient. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Hope costs nothing.